Alright, hello Exiles. I just wanted to make a quick overview of the Doryani crit build. It mainly uses the Doryani's touch skill to deal as much damage as possible. I want to preface this by saying there is a lot wrong with this build, case in point, but also like you have to utilize 3 war cries, 2 ancestral totems, manage your berserk, etc, and it's also a slam skill that we're also adding crit to, etc. It's a fuck ton of work for really not enough payout, but in my opinion the build is cool enough to show it off, so I really want to let the people know how it really looks. So the main part of this build is 1, our DORYANI'S Fist, which gives us the DORYANI'S touch skill, and 2, the Rigwald's Curse, which gives critical strike chance to our unarmed attacks. So as you will see with our DORYANI'S Fist here, we have base 36.31% crit strike chance, but taking off our Rigwald's Curse, we have no crit strike chance. That's because DORYANI'S touch in and of itself cannot crit. That's just built into the skill, and we're just looking for sources of crit wherever we can, and we're using Rigwald's Curse for that, because modifiers of claw claw critical strike chance also apply to unarmed critical strike chance, and we're just boosting crit everywhere we can. And since crit normally affects claws, then it also affects our unarmed damage. And that's basically the gist of the build. One important thing to remember is that DORYANI'S touch has a 600% multiplier of added damage. That means if we scale as much damage as possible on it, it'll get a bunch of it. That is unusual because most skills have about 250% of a damage multiplier, and DORYANI'S touch has 600, so that's why we're utilizing it. A big source of crit here is going to be our Brutal Restraint, catered to Nasima, dominated by, I don't know. With Second Sight, you are blind, but you have 25% more crit strike chance. And we also have some crit strikes nodes here. We utilize a bunch of crit strike, when war cry and stuff like that. A bunch of crit strike on passive skills, etc. So yeah, we're just trying to boost our crit strike chance and crit multiplier as much as we can, just so we can hit the hardest as possible. If you go view my last video, you will see that I killed a tier 16 Drox with 3 hits, so that is really good. I also forget to utilize my flasks, but I don't know. It just be like that sometimes. So yeah, another important part of the build is that we're using DORYANI'S prototype. The most important part of this is nearby enemies have lightning resistance equal to yours. That means we are trying to put our lightning resistance as low as possible. Now remember, this affects lightning damage from hits. See, the line armor also applies to lightning damage taken from hits. The case in point of that line is taken from hits. That means degens will still hurt us a lot, so we gotta watch out for that. That's the main part why this build is kinda iffy. We can't really survive, so you know, it just be what it do. Basically a glass cannon build, so you either kill it before it touches you. But yeah, we're trying to get our lightning resistance as low as possible, so we're using a melding of the flesh. With well, you could get this to -80, but as you see, I'm undercapped, I guess, by 20 lightning rest, so that's not really important. I'm also using a Ventur's Gamble with -25, and I'm trying to get all the other resistances on my gear. Oh yeah, and I also have this Crucible passive tree, which gives me minus lightning resistance and more fire resistance. Also, of course, Threads of Hope, which give me -20. So that is very good. For our crit strike multiplier, I'm also using the Transcendent Flesh. We have Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh that gives us Tauhoa's Chosen. And of course a Watcher's Eye. I just have a 1 mod Wrath because I just want more damage. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the build. I'm supporting my DORYANI'S Touch with Fist of War. This is anomalous for more damage. If you see an alternate quality, it just means I want more damage. Increased critical damage support, pulverize, elemental damage with attacks. For my auras, I'm using Wrath, Blood and Sand, Determination, linked with Enlighten, of course. I'm also marking with Anomalous Assassin's Mark and Mark on Hand. Here I got my totems, Ancestral War Chief and Ancestral Protector. I could get that to an alt quality, but I wasted all of my currency on this, and I literally have like 100 chaos in my stash tab right now. Also Berserk and Echoes of Creation. Here I have my Enduring Cry, Intimidating Cry, and Seismic Cry, all linked to life tap, because we're losing life from Echoes of Creation when we use Warcry. We're of course recovering that with our Warcry mastery. But it's also not really that important. The moment we hit something, we have so much life leech that it just simply doesn't affect us in any way, shape, or form. The other unique here is Redly Banner. That's just for generating our rage when using one of the Warcries. And that's thanks to the Ascendancy. Is Warcries grant 10 rage per 5 power if you have less than 25 rage, and Redblade Banner gives us Warcries have infinite power, so we generate the maximum amount of rage anytime we Warcry. And of course here I just have Molten Shell with cast and damage taken. That's just some protection, but it really doesn't matter. The moment something gets to hit us hard, we basically die. So, you know, and I got Flame Dash here as my traversal skill of choice. And on my rare gear, I just have some intelligence and resistance. I have this Venture's Gamble with -25 lightning res and some good resistances there. It came with the corruption. It was cheap and I bought it. Over here we have some life decks, some resistances. And same with here. We have int, armor, fire, and cold res, and some movement speed, so that's good. This build is very slow. We're also trying to boost our attack speed as much as possible, and because that is way too slow to do literally anything. So using all of our war cries, our totems. Oh, let me actually show you. Oh, I don't know why that's off. Boosting all of that using Berserk, we can slam a lot. And that is a very important part of the build, just slamming as much as possible. We're also trying to boost our armor as much as possible, because of course DORYANI'S prototype lightning damage is taken from hits is applied by armor, so we're trying to get as much armor as possible. And that's basically the gist of the build. Mapping with this build is pretty bad. I ran some defiled cathedrals and like a barren map. Barren map was excruciatingly difficult because of all the lightning damage that you're taking. Of course, taken from hits, it doesn't really matter. But all the other damage types that we're getting hit by, they just clap us instantly. So running any lightning affiliated maps is extremely difficult. But yeah, as you saw, Drox was extremely easy to kill. Same with Baron. I killed him in like 4 or 5 hits because something weird happened in the middle where I don't know if I pressed something wrong or whatever. But yeah, that is another thing about this build. You have to manage 3 war cries, of course your Doryani's touch, your berserk, your totems, and of course your flasks. That is a lot to manage. And also I use the tech where I look at my berserk, and when it falls under 25 I war cry again, and if you do that like a couple of times, it starts getting very hard to manage, just simply because it's going so fast. You're gonna misclick something and you're not gonna get that berserk up. So if you're mapping, this is a really important tech. Like right there, I tried to press it, I tried to keep it going, but I just couldn't. This is really important tech while mapping, but it's just simply very hard to do. So yeah, that's basically the gist of the build. If you wanna take this build, make this build better, make it actually playable, please do so, and please let me know. I am not skilled enough with Path of Building to like theorize any builds. I basically saw someone use this and said, hey, I'll have that. And now I just want to make a short little overview of it, just so everybody knows the state of DORYANI'S Fist. Basically, the crit version is the highest you can go right now with it, if you're not going for Joseph's level of 1 Quackman. But, you know, it just be like that. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in a later video. Bye-bye.